The app, available from the App and Play Store.
With Bryson.
10:17 on a gloriously sunny Monday. आप सुन रहे Sunrise Radio Shabnam Sahi के साथ. I'd like to extend a big warm welcome to Pravin Pattni and Jaysal Pattni, father and son of Minar Jewellers. It's always good to have you as my guests. And I'm saying that because what you bring to the conversation, both of you, every time, is something that I learn from. Even though I'd like to think we've spoken about these things so many times, it is something that always gives me a fresh perspective when I think about jewellery, gemstones. Pravin and Jaysal, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shabnam. I think we would like to extend the same element of professionalism in what you do. Shabnam, whenever we talk to our customers, when they say that they only listen to Shabnam, it clearly shows that whatever you're doing it so well, and people love the amount of research and the work you do beforehand to prepare for your program. And that's what the professionalism and integrity is all about. We share the same ideals in that particular field.
Absolutely we do, sir. Now, for the benefit of those who perhaps have not come across Minar Jewellers, they don't know what you do or for how long you've done it and just how honoured and decorated you are in your field. Give us a little background first, please.
Oh, thank you, Shabnam. I'll just give you a little background about Minar Jewellers. We're a fourth-generation multi-award-winning jeweller and members of professional bodies such as the National Association of Jewellers, Gemological Association of Great Britain, Gemological Institute of America, GIA, and the Responsible Jewellery Council. By being members of the Responsible Jewellery Council, we take pride in making sure that all of our jewellery is ethically sourced. There's no child labour used, no poor working conditions, and every diamond has got a guarantee that there's been nobody been maimed or killed in the process of mining. No other South Asian jeweller is a member of the Responsible Jewellery Council in the UK. That audit process is quite onerous. So my father, Pravin, has actually been in the jewellery business making bespoke jewellery for a number of celebrity clients and has an experience of over 53 years within the industry. As a past chairman of the National Association of Jewellers, he takes pride in ensuring that we are one of the few jewellers who are fully compliant with all aspects of consumer legislation. We're the leaders in the industry. We are flattered, actually, when sometimes other jewellers tried to copy what we do online and in social media.
I can imagine because, expertise and integrity, they don't always go hand in hand. But when they do, I think the result is there for all to see. Right, let's start with the questions that many of my listeners sent in WhatsApp me to the studio last week when I told them that I was going to have you as my guests. Starting with, how expensive is it to get your jewellery evaluated? Is it a forbidding sum or is it something everyone should think about?
Well, with the price of gold at historically the highest it's ever been for some time, it is of paramount importance to have your jewelry valued. We recently did a valuation for a client who had previously never had a valuation done. I asked the client before that, in their opinion, how much did they think the jewelry was worth? The client said they really did not know, possibly 35 to 40,000 pounds. The jewellery was valued at £137,500. The average value of each item was £1,500. The cost of that valuation was approximately 2% of the total value. So therefore, for that client, it is a very simple conclusion that by paying 2% for the valuation fee, is it worth losing $97,500?
Yes.
It's a very simple, logical answer. You must get your jewelry valued because what you think and what it's really worth could be significantly different.
Fantastic. Now,
and don't let the cost of valuing be a deterrent. We use a value from the Institute of Registered Valuers for all our valuations. The valuers are recognized by all insurance companies of having the highest professional standards. At this point, I would advise all listeners to check whether or not they need to get all their jewelry valued. If you or your children haven't worn any piece of jewelry for years, you should get that valued to exchange for gold coins and bars. You do not need to pay VAT or making charges for these investment gold items. And it is very easy for your beneficiaries to sell that and obtain a correct price when selling compared to finished jewelry.
Fantastic. Now, I've got a few more questions on gold before I move on to lab-grown diamonds, which apparently was of a lot of interest to a lot of my listeners. So, Somebody asked that, if you're looking at jewelry purely in terms of an investment, is it better to buy jewelry? Is it better to buy gold bars? And B, is it cheaper to buy gold jewelry in India? Or would we be paying more or less the same in rupee equivalent?
Shabnam, if you actually enjoy wearing jewelry, you should always buy these pieces which are practical, wearable,
Yes.
without you having to think that is this piece too rich looking for the event that you may be attending. The good thing is that if you had bought a piece of gold jewelry in the year 2000, so 25 years ago, by now the gold value has increased by almost 1,375%. The £2,500 jewelry bought in 2000 is now worth £36,875.
My goodness, yeah.
If, however, you don't wear jewellery regularly, you get better investment value in buying gold bars and coins for which you will not have to pay the making charges or the VAT.
Regarding the price of gold and jewelry in India, at the close of business on Friday evening, the price of gold in India was 99,500 rupees for 10 grams of pure gold. At the exchange rate of 113.26 rupees to a pound, it equates to 87 pounds 85 per gram.
Yeah.
In the UK, the price of gold on Friday was 80 pounds and 26 for 1 gram of fine gold.
Interesting.
The gold in India is 8.6% more in price than that in the UK. When you purchase jewelry in the UK, you pay 20% VAT. According to the current law, if you buy jewelry over 390 pounds worth from India, you should declare it at the airport in the customs and pay the 20% VAT. So by just logic,
Yes.
the price of gold in India is definitely more. If you want to bring jewelry officially into the UK, you will pay the 20% VAT, and therefore it's not going to be significantly cheaper in India. The price of gold is more. The labor is likely to be cheaper.
Yes.
But by the time you bring it here, you got to also bear in mind the hallmarking. So in the UK, one of the 4 assay offices which are designated by the government mark the jewelry. In India, this is a private, marking thing. So
It
in other
may
words,
or may not be hallmarked, you're saying.
it can be hallmark, but also the people who hallmark it can be actually influenced by big players in the market, whereas in UK that's out of question. If you have a 22 carat 916 purity item and it tests as 914, it would be marked down as 18 carat. So that's very important to know.
Now, before I give everyone the gold rate and also play the hit of the hour, I would like to touch upon lab-grown diamonds because there was a lot of interest coming from a lot of listeners. And, I've seen you and, of course, many others say that without your specialist equipment, even jewelers are now unable to tell the difference between the real deal and a lab-grown diamond. So the first question would be, what is it that we're looking out for when we're buying a lab-grown diamond? Besides the aesthetics, of course, we need to love the ring first. But besides that, how is it graded? What should we be aware of?
This is such a brilliant question that's come to mind, actually. Laboratory-grown diamonds have grown in popularity in the last few years. The chemical composition of laboratory-grown diamonds is the same as that of natural diamonds. So it's pure carmine. The grading is also identical to a natural diamond. So they use the 4 C's. So colour, clarity, cut and carat.
Yeah.
That's the weight. So at Minar Jewellers, all the diamonds over a quarter of a carat are certificated by internationally renowned laboratories such as GIA and IGI. The growth in popularity of lab-grown diamonds has meant that the natural diamonds demand has receded in the last few years. As a result, the price of natural diamonds has fallen in varying degrees depending on the size of the diamond.
Wow. So does the value of a lab-grown diamond also increase significantly with time, as much as the value of a real diamond would?
I think it's important to realize that a lot of the people always look at gold and diamond jewelry as a type of investment. When you're buying something like this, which is a lab-grown diamond, you've got to look at it like if you buy an outfit that you like or a designer handbag. You do not look at how much you will get back for the same outfit or handbag in a year's time.
Yes.
The laboratory-grown diamond jewelry should be viewed with the same objective.
Okay.
You get the pleasure of wearing it for years, and there is always some value you will get back compared to the outfit or the handbag. So I think the mindset has to change. You get the pleasure of enjoying wearing this particular jewelry, which looks as beautiful as a natural diamond jewelry. It is significantly cheaper than the natural diamond, but you shouldn't look at it from the investment point only. You should see from the aesthetics and the pleasing and the pleasure you get out of wearing that piece of jewelry.
Absolutely. The pleasure of owning that piece of jewelry and wearing it, hopefully, and not keeping it under lock and key, like so many of us do with jewelry which is really, really valuable, right? So I think that's another advantage of a lab-grown diamond. If you know that you haven't had to take out a mortgage to get it, you're more likely to wear it every day.
You get better use out of it.
Yes,
indeed. You're
indeed.
not worried about the fact that if you lose it, you're going to lose 20,000, 30,000
Yes.
pounds, which could be for a 1 to 1.5 carat natural diamond.
Yes, absolutely. Monday, the 12th of May, you with me, Shabnam Sahi on Sunrise. My guests in the studio today, Pravin Pattni and Jaysal Pattni of Minar Jewellers. Now, one last question. You've explained to us what a lab-grown diamond is all about, what we should be looking out for. But those who ask, is gold a better investment than diamond? What would you say to them?
Now, during the 70s, 80s and 90s, the price of natural diamonds saw a steady increase because of the demand and the very successful marketing by the internationally renowned bodies such as the World Diamond Council and De Beers. After the beginning of the millennium, we saw some increase, but not as much as what we had seen in the previous 3 decades. Since the popularity of laboratory-grown diamonds in the last few years has exceeded the expectations of most people in the jewelry trade, the natural diamonds have seen a decline in the price. In comparison, gold has done exactly the opposite. Due to geopolitical and economic reasons, the gold price has steadily gone up, and from 2000 to 2025, the price of gold has gone up by 1,375%, as Jaysal said earlier, and therefore it's very easy to deduce that on the basis of historic statistics,
Facts, yes.
gold is a better investment.
Is a better investment. Now, there's something that, I think we've probably discussed previously, but there are people who are always interested to know. How much jewelry would you say is safe for us to keep at home? And also, is it a good time to invest in gold right now?
Most insurance company policies provide a cover for valuables kept at home. This can vary from company to company. The average cover from our research is showing between £20,000 and £30,000. You should check your own cover. Only keep what you're covered for at home. The remainder should be valued and kept in a safe deposit locker, either at a bank or an alternative safe deposit companies.
To address the question of is it a good time to invest in gold? Well, we are not financial advisors, but we can say from our experience that you can invest in gold if you don't need the cash within 5 years. Because of the volatility in the price of gold, the price could go down as much as go up, depending on lots of reasons outside your control. Historically, gold goes up every few years. What goes up always comes down. Speculators sell gold when the price is high. This is when you see an adjustment in the price of gold. However, due to so many geopolitical and economic uncertainties, the gold is a tangible investment which will remain popular with investors. And one caution, a lot of people look at paper, ETFs as they call them. I don't recommend that because, a lot of companies such as the biggest banks, the Barings and the Coots of this world and the Lehman Brothers have gone down under, which you never have thought.
Yes.
Gold is solid, tangible in your pocket. Nobody can take it away from you. So buy solid gold and keep it for a long-term investment. Historical figures reveal that you will never fail if you keep it over a period of 5 years or longer. You will make a gain which will exceed the inflation and a lot of other investments, including the stock market and the property price. I have statistics to illustrate that.
Yes. We could just sit here and talk endlessly about this. You make it so interesting and so easy to grasp for people who are not really in the business. But before I let you go, we have to talk about something that you brought up. We were discussing what we should share with our listeners, and you have a finger on the public's pulse because you have people coming in every single day to Minar asking you to either design this or asking getting your advice on something, and we hit upon the idea of talking about astrological gemstones. Pravin, you are absolutely right. I'm thinking that in the same way that clothes designers have to be very aware of what celebrities are wearing, because they know that the demand is going to be that Deepika Padukone lehenga, I want exactly that. Similarly, you were saying that if you look at Bollywood alone, the biggest stars are often seen wearing astrological gemstones. What is your opinion on this? And you just mentioned something very, very interesting, Pravin. I'd like you to describe that as well, please.
So astrology is a science with over 400 years of history. It guides individuals in seeking gemstones for security, fortune, marriage prospects, or personal solace. Minar Jewels offers guidance in this pursuit with a qualified on-site gemologist who can advise on purchasing natural gemstones. There's a lot of people who buy gemstones which are not natural, so it defeats the object of wearing that particular stone because it does not have any benefit. If it is natural, and most of the time anything which is going to be over a certain value, we get them certificated by an independent laboratory, so there's peace of mind for the wearer. Consulting an astrologer is recommended to determine the specific stone best suited for one's individual needs. But we've seen many instances where a customer comes to us and they are more influenced by their parents to say, you must wear this stone, whether they're looking for a partner or whether they're looking for a good job. And the customer comes in and they are very skeptical, but we've always designed things with the consumer in mind. So recently we had a doctor customer who was very skeptical about wearing astrological gemstones. But she bought a stone which was natural, unheated, untreated, which is always very expensive. So we got an international certificate for it from a laboratory. And then she wanted to put it in a ring which didn't look like an astrological ring. So what we did was we asked her to look for a design that she liked. And nowadays, the big brands have a big influence on the designs. So she found one which she liked from a particular brand, brought that design, and we incorporated this design for her in the ring that she wanted. And she's wearing that joyfully, knowing that she's wearing a designer brand and also pleasing her mum
at the same
that
time.
She's wearing the astrological gemstone.
And you did mention something very interesting, that for these gemstones to actually work, they need to touch your skin as much as they can. So that was a design challenge that you had to overcome.
Indeed.
Making sure that it was the design that she had chosen, and yet at the same time she would benefit from it so that the stone was touching her.
Yeah, it's very important. And you will see that even the biggest Bollywood stars like the Amitabh Bachchans and the Deepika Padukones and the Isha Ambanis who are very successful are wearing astrological gemstones. And there's a good reason for that. They want to bring something in their life which is posing a challenge. It could be anything. It could be health. It could be personal matters. It could be their private life. But whatever it is, astrological gemstones have a part to play in people's lives. If you believe in that, and if you don't believe in that, ask your astrologer. He might tell you what it is.
Right. I think that might be all that we have time for today. Pravin and Jaysal, as always, it's a pleasure to have you in the studio. I'd also like to add that since our last conversation, I started following you on Instagram, and I absolutely love the little videos that you post. They are just the right duration to often address things that you know your customers come and ask you. It could be about, again, lab-grown versus real. It could be about, is this the right time to sell? How much? All the things that we touched upon. So anyone who is interested in knowing more about everything that we talked about and a lot more, please do head over to Minar Jewelers and your Instagram handle. And it's a new addition that I've seen in the last year. Probably, Jaysal, I'm guessing you have arm twisted your dad into
something like that, last
doing
year
this.
or so. Exactly.
But it's really working, I have to say.
Thank
you. And of course, you are on Upper Tooting Road. Anyone who wishes to walk in and get your advice, get your opinion, get beautiful jewels from you, they know exactly where to find you. Thank you so much for your time.
Sir. And may I just add, Shabnam, to that anybody who has any questions related to jewelry, feel free to ask them. You don't essentially have to come and buy them from us. Just phone us, leave a message, and we'll be happy to answer anything which relates to jewelry. It will be a pleasure to assist the listeners of Sunrise Radio.
The app available from the App and Play Store.